All right. Well, Annie, so far you're the only parent in this parent meeting besides myself, as far as a BCA parent anyway.
I guess I'm on top of it today.
Woo! Yeah, if it's just you and me and the rest of the staff here, we may have a short meeting. That's all I can say. Second to the last parent meeting. Wow. Hey, anybody have a good weekend story? I did end up going to the coast this weekend, which was awesome. Weather was perfect, and that was the end of my story.
I'll share, Ben. We went, I wanted to do something fun for Mother's Day, so we went on a trail ride, which was really fun. I haven't been on a horse in a long time, and so it ended up just being my husband and myself. No one else joined, so we had like a totally uh, private trail ride.
Wow,
But I found a coupon in the mail, so it was like a discounted private trail ride, which was even better. So that was really fun.
that's awesome. That's wonderful.
Are you a horseback rider?
No, I mean, I have not done it really. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, it's not something. I usually don't leave my house if I don't have to. It's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um, well, look at this. This is uh this is the first time that somebody that wasn't employed by BCA in some capacity, because Annie is a board member, so we,
Well,
we
they're doing their field trip
oh,
today,
it's field trip day.
and it's a really good one. So I think that might be
There,
why, but we'll see.
well, we got one in the waiting room. Here we go. Okay, so we've got now two parents, and that's okay. We're really light on the parents today at the parent meeting, but that's fine.
I, I'm a parent. That's
Yes,
a parent. That's
yeah,
four parents.
I'm
four.
a parent.
Okay, wait a minute.
Five.
One, two. Oh, did we just tip the scale? Woo! That's right. Take it, staff. We're we're overrunning the parent meeting with BCA parents. That's good. All right. We may not go the whole hour here, but we'll attempt to at least bring some things up. The 15th, Rachel, is the last day
It
to do
is
anything with
if
reimbursements, right?
anybody that needed either a better or elaborate education plan or an itemized receipt, more information like that, If they didn't get it to us by, or their parent liaison by the 15th, we will archive their request. And
Wow.
that's it for 23-24.
That's, yeah, pretty crazy. Wow. Any pushback on that? It's probably good because you had a lot of time to get it going, and maybe Rachel would not be so happy. It's just like, why didn't you guys communicate this earlier?
Right.
All right. Oh, staff is making a comeback here. Corey just joined, but Corey's also a parent, so never mind. Woo. We're just talking, Corey. We're light on parents today that aren't necessarily BCA staff, but we do have a lot of BCA parents here still. Miriam, bringing our numbers up. That's good. Hey, does anybody want to talk about extracurriculars? Is that something that people are passionate about? I do, we can have the discussion. I don't necessarily think I need to jump into it if nobody here wants to talk more about that. But some people are still coming in, so maybe I will wait for this for Amy to come in and ask one more time. Hey, just in the chat, or you can let me know, does anybody here passionate about extracurriculars at the BCA and would like to talk about those, possibly going away for next year, because we are merging our extracurricular program with our curriculum day. Those two things merged together are going to produce a new thing altogether.
But it's not curriculum day. You just used the wrong word.
Ah,
So for
community
clarity,
day, community day.
community
Thank you.
day.
It's like, man, she's really passionate about this not being merged together. But yes, I get that. So sorry, curriculum day is nothing. That's still going to be persisting on. Community day and extracurriculars merging together to create a new thing. But I am curious if there is any concern out there. I am willing to talk about it, discuss it, and address concerns. I know there's not a lot of parents here because of our field trip, but Miriam, why don't you get us started?
Hello there.
Hey,
So I'm just coming back from field trip, so don't mind me. Good turnout, by the way, on the field trip today.
yeah,
Lots of kids jumping and being happy. I have a vested interest in the choir,
yeah.
and I just wanted to see if that's something as that we could still continue as a community day item.
Yes, that is a really good question. Now, I will just say this, that in all of our discussions, in all of our planning for the future, choir did factor into that in some way because it is such an awesome offering that we have. I just appreciate the fact that we still have the shows, you know, the recitals, and so yes, I think that the likelihood of it continuing on is really high, but we are still working out the specific details. So I can't commit 100%, but I'm just saying that in my thinking, that was never a, let's just move on from that. But again, there's still some work to be done there. But when we're saying we're merging the two things together is what we are specifically saying is that we're not going to be charging anybody for these offerings, number one, and that we are going to have to revamp what we're currently doing for our community day, so that it can attract the most amount of BCA families to want to come. So what we're currently doing for Community Day is not hitting the second point. It's not attracting a wide variety of BCA families. And our extracurriculars are not hitting the first point, which is an option that is not costing families anything. So this new thing needs to have all kinds of great stuff for our families, but not something that we are going to charge for. So that's what we're looking at. Any so choir kind of fits nicely in that whole thing as far as options that attract a wide variety of students and that we don't have to necessarily charge students for. What else? Anybody else have anything that they want to say about that? Yeah, Dixie.
Okay, can you hear me this week?
Oh yes, we're ready for you. Although you don't have your parent audience today. They all went to the field trip.
So I have a few points I just wanted to touch base with you on.
Yes.
The last thing you mentioned just skipped my brain. What were the last point you made?
Oh, just about my hope is that the option is not whatever we come up with is not going to be something that we're charging families for, and also it is going to attract a wide variety of our BCA families.
Okay, so my question is, the people that have been involved in extracurriculars that we've charged for,
Yes.
has there been complaint about that, or are they willing to pay for those because they like them so much with their allotments?
Yeah, they're willing to pay. The problem is that in order to achieve the second thing, which is to create a program that is going to hit the most amount of families, we need to put some investment into this community day. That may take some time and resources and maybe some money. And having extracurriculars off on the side that we are heavily subsidizing it is something that is taking resources potentially away from this other thing. The other piece is that in order for us to get extracurriculars closer to being self-sufficient, we talked about possibly doubling the price, which we already have bumped the price up to $150 per semester. So that would, or no, not 150. It was what was it per semester that we?
It's 150 per semester, 300 a year.
Yes, 300 a year. So that would be doubling that would put it at almost 600 for the year, which is pretty rough, you know, as far as families' ability to participate in that BCA option.
Okay, so my question then is, what kind of response have we gotten to the free options on Community Day? I understand that they've been pretty low.
That is true.
So what is going to make that different? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. What is going to make that different by making more free options? How is that going to get more people to come in? I mean, what is our...
Yeah, I love that. Okay, here's what I would like to do. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
We could tell you something, and I would love to do that because there are some really awesome ideas out there. I just am hesitating because I don't know that I want to throw them out and then be committed to them when they're still in their infancy. But
Yeah.
with that said, if there was anything that we could throw out, I think I would just say, based off of what we are currently doing, what we have realized is that we need to increase, not decrease, the amount of the offering. The once a month actually is really good for some families, but the consistency of every week is better. We need to increase the amount of offerings so that when you come onto campus once a week, you have at least 3 hours of engagement versus just a 1/2 hour, 1 hour thing that you're coming for. And that 3 hours of engagement needs to be robust enough that it is, I'm so excited to go to choir and to the next thing and to the next thing. We offered offerings that our teachers maybe were excited to do, like puzzles and board games, and all of those things are really, really good. But there wasn't anything about it that was especially unique enough that would get somebody to want to go travel the 30 to 45 minutes to participate in something that they could only get by coming to this new community day thing.
Mhm.
Choir's a great example of that. It's not like something you can just do at home. Playing or doing a puzzle, you could do at home, but your friends are there, so there's a little bit of a bonus. But if you could have your friends there plus a unique educational experience that is happening every week, that can be part of the rhythm and something that families can get excited about, I think that's what would make it different. Now, there are a lot more specifics that we really do have down in some somewhat firmer plans, but I really don't think at this moment sharing those is going to be a wise way to go.
Okay. Well, with all that vagary,
Yes, that's what I do. But if anybody wants to jump in with something more solid, I'm okay with that.
I get your point. I'm a realist, and I'm a little bit skeptical that you're going to see this huge influx of people coming on Fridays just because there's going to be stuff there, because it hasn't been highly successful in the past. Now, maybe it's going to be so much better that you will see that, but obviously this will just be a test year anyway to get it going and hoping. But something that did pop in my brain while you were talking was we have these K-8 science and social studies projects that they need to turn in every quarter or whatever it is. That would actually be a cool thing to offer, where kids could come and take a science class, and then whatever they did there, that teacher could then present it to their LC. That might have already been something somebody's thought of, but
Oh, no. I think it's a great idea. It really is. And I like that. Keep it coming. Just keep talking, Dixie.
could be a social studies issue too. I mean, you could have these classes where kids came, and maybe it's only once a month on these because you don't need these projects that often, but it would be something that I could see interest forming with parents, because it's one thing off their plate that could be, what's required for the school, but they could do it with friends and do science experiments and, maybe a mapping and cultural thing or something. I don't know. That's just a thought I had just popped in my brain while you were talking. So last week I discussed music lessons with you, because that has been something that BCA has offered from day one.
Right.
And my family has benefited immensely from. Now, my daughter is not going to be there next year and she's done with music, so it isn't affecting me personally.
Right.
I did talk to my older daughter who has two kids there that are both taking music lessons and have since they started. And I mentioned to her that the way it's set up may be going away next year. And I was trying to get, because you were like, have her come to the meeting, whatever, we need
Yeah, right.
to hear. And she was like, well, to be honest, it's nice and it's handy because we could do it on campus on the day we came. But if it's on Fridays, I don't know, I'll probably find a different instructor. And I was a little, the thing that I love about that and the choir is it's a community thing. And at the end of each term, we've had these recitals. And in the beginning, they were really big. I mean, we used the gym across the street and we had these big programs. And it's so cool to see an audience of families come to watch their kids perform. And sometimes that's the only time they ever meet these other parents because we only come 3 hours a week, and to me, it was a pulling together of family and students and teachers. I really love presentations and recitals that it makes a feeling of community with the school. And so, yes, they can get lessons elsewhere and they can get good instruction and BCA will help pay for those. And that's all great. But we do lose that community side of all those kids coming together, showcasing their talents as a school.
Now,
So
we have talked, because I do love that last point. There has been the idea of implementing something like a talent show where it wasn't even just limited to music, not just singing, but other forms of things that students are doing, whether that's karate or putting on a skit or something where we would maybe rent that here in Lowell anyway, the gym out again and bring the bigger crowd in to get that feel of celebrating what students are doing, but in a more personalized way. The
yeah,
choir also being involved as well in all of that, and the personalized learning can be showcased really to the extreme.
I do like that. I've been involved with a couple other charter schools, and they would do a year end, just like a presentation night.
Yeah.
And kids would sign up to do something for X amount of minutes. And then at the end, of course, there was snacks and mingling. And, I feel like in so many ways, BCA has progressed and has gotten so much better, but we have lost some things along the way. I mean, we don't have the year end picnic and party at the lake. And I know that all changed because of the dynamics of that, but we miss that. We don't have the in-person coming into the parent room, chatting with somebody and doing activities. And we don't like, and I know it depends on staff and who's involved and what's
Sure.
up, but oh my goodness, what was the husband and wife team that we had for a while that moved back east?
The Jacksons,
Jacksons, yes.
Ryan and
Yeah.
the other.
Yeah, Mrs. Jackson was big on all of that stuff. And she did Teacher Appreciation Day for the parents, and had roses and goodies. And, it was just the little personal things. And I feel like the community day can really help with that too, when you get kids in classrooms doing something fun together. I just feel like a little bit of our personal side of BCA has kind of fallen through the cracks. We've worked so hard on academics and trying to get things up to snuff, and it's going fantastic. But if we lose recitals and it's just, I feel like we need to make sure we don't forget some of the roots that we started with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I do see that.
The other one is, and I'm not advocating that we put daycare back in, but it was really cool for our little kids to get a taste. And I'm just wondering, maybe in the next year or so, if we could look at just preschool, maybe 3 and 4 year olds having an hour or something. So I'm not talking like daycare, but just a little bit of instructional time to kind of get their feet wet. I know my grandkids loved it so much. They were going to school and they were 4 years old, So, all right, I'll shut up now. Those are my thoughts.
But what I'm hearing you say is, yes, we're progressing, but we're losing that the relationship community piece.
I feel like we are a little.
Yeah, and then everybody's going all in different directions, and there are precious few things that bring us all together, and slowly those things seem to be fading away, is what I'm
Yeah,
hearing.
and I think Community Day is a step in the right direction. I just hope it's successful.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, actually. That would be nice. But you're right. It just doing the same thing more intently when something isn't working is not a winning strategy either. Something significant has to change in order for it to draw the masses. Because if people don't really want it, it can be awesome in somebody's eyes, but if it's not a popular option with parents, then it really doesn't matter how great it is. So yeah, that's really good feedback, Dixie, as always. Hopefully that opens it up for anyone else that wants to speak up and give their feedback. As always, you can shoot me an email. I do read them. I tried to respond to them. And I do appreciate the thoughts there. Oh man, I wish we could talk about the good stuff for next year, but I just really feel we need to get it a little more solidified. I don't want to make promises that we can't actually keep for this next year. All right, well, we can come back to it if somebody brings it up. Otherwise, we're gonna move on here. Are there any announcements that we need to make for our parents for this next week from any of our team leads? Nothing.
Well, we have returns week,
Ooh,
the last week of this month, so the 28th through the 30th. So if you don't intend to use your curriculum or device through the summer for any sort of learning, then we would ask to have it returned. If you do intend to use it, then the checkout forms are in the weekly email. And if you could fill it out and send it in to your parent liaison, that would be wonderful.
awesome. All right. Any questions about that? On what you need to bring back, to who, when, why, what? All right, Jessica.
Yeah, just a couple of high school things coming up. This week is personal growth projects and purpose and direction project present, or purpose direction project. Yeah. I'm losing track of my acronyms today. But those presentations are happening this week for our high school students. Your student is scheduled on the same day that is their normal cohort day. However, there was some confusion on the Bend campus. If that applies to anyone here, we will not be doing cohorts on Wednesday on the Bend campus because all presentations are on Tuesday this week. So all of our Bend students will be done after Tuesday. Other things coming up next week is conferences. The 24th, Friday of next week, is the last day for high school students to submit coursework for the end of the semester. It's coming up really fast.
Wow.
And then our graduation ceremony is scheduled for June 1st.
Whew. So really, this is it. This week, next week is everything that we need to. Wow. So this conferences are next week, you said?
Yep.
So one-on-one still going on this week,
This week, yes, for high school.
but no cohorts because of the presentation.
Yep.
And then next
Instead, they
week-
have a presentation time to show up for.
And next week, just conferences, no one-on-ones, no cohorts. Obviously,
Correct.
cohorts are done. All right. Wow. That's pretty eye-opening on just how close we are to the end. TJ, what do we need to know about K-8 conferences?
They are next week, although some LCs may already be scheduling conferences with families ahead of time, just especially if you've already done your curriculum meeting, they may be doing a conference as they work through it with you. But the bulk of them will be done next week. This is the last week of cohorts. There are no one-on-ones this week. Again, unless you scheduled a conference with your LC. But they are doing kind of an end of year bash this week for cohorts. And so it'll be kind of a fun, there'll be a lot of stuff kind of outside, and there'll be stations and stuff that students can move around to and families can participate in. So it'll be a lot of fun this year for this kind of last week of cohorts. I think all the LCs, a lot of them are at the school today, setting up and getting ready for this week. So they're really excited for this last week of cohorts to kind of celebrate this incredible year. And so many of them are excited that summer's approaching, but so sad to leave their students because they've had an incredible year this year. It really has been a great year. And that's because of the families, the parents. I think everybody's kind of come together and just made it a great year. So looking forward to it as we move towards the end. These last 2 weeks.
Insane. All right. Anything from our AIS department?
I think just make sure you're scheduling your curriculum meetings.
Mhm. Yeah, how are we doing with that? Is that going well, or are there still a lot of parents that need to get their curriculum meetings for next year?
Yeah, it's both. There are a lot of parents that need to get their curriculum meetings in, and both Jenny and Lori are wildly busy with curriculum meetings. So if they come into the Zoom room looking a little glassy-eyed for you, just know that they may have had, 5 or 6 meetings before they show up if you schedule in the afternoon.
Well, keeping in the vein of curriculum meetings, I would like to go back to Jessica. I'm curious what the verdict was from our high school curriculum meetings. Did we get through most of our families, and do we still have a lot for the makeup day, and when is that going to be?
Yeah, great question. So we're super happy to celebrate. I think our high school advisor, Karen Heigl, calculated we saw about roughly 83% of our high school families through the in-person curriculum meetings, which was amazing. So thank you all for showing up for those. And if you were unable to attend, we are going to be releasing the Calendly links this Friday in the family email to sign up for a virtual meeting in June. It is going to be managed on an individual parent to SAS meetings. There's oftentimes a lot of dead time when we try to do hour-long meetings with every SAS in attendance. And so instead, we're leaving it up to families to make appointments with as many or as few SASs as they need to connect with to make changes to their schedule. It'll offer a lot more flexibility for you as a parent in when you can choose those appointments, as well as it'll be a little bit more efficient for our SAS team so we can get through as many people as possible before they're off for the summer. We are going to be doing those on June 3rd and 4th, assuming I got those dates right, and neither of those is a weekend. Yeah, June 3rd and 4th is the days that we're going to make those available. And so those are for any families that were unable to attend our in-person curriculum meetings, or if you did attend our in-person curriculum meetings and you're having second thoughts about a decision that was made there, you're also more than welcome to come to those meetings to make any changes to your PCS, your schedule, before you leave, before we're all gone for the summer. Because our high school team, unlike K-8, where there's some options throughout the summer to get curriculum decisions made. Our K-8 or our high school team, once our SASs are done with curriculum meetings, they're not back till August. So now's the time to connect with an SAS and make any changes if you're thinking you want to make changes before next year.
Thank you. Any questions about that? Concerns? All right, TJ.
Just wanted to reference Jamie's comments in the chat. If families are interested in summer programs, please reach out to your LC or EC. And I would say, and Jasmine, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the family's like, yeah, we're not sure, we would probably have them go ahead and sign up with me. If they're like, yeah, we're kind of thinking about it, we're not sure, should they just err on the side of caution, go ahead and sign up for summer programs. Like if they're in the end of year conference meeting and they're talking about this item on the agenda, and it comes up and the family's like, yeah, we're kind of wanting to do summer program, but we're not sure. Would you encourage the LCs to just go ahead and sign them up and have them set up and ready to go in case they decide they want to?
Yeah, I think it's great to go ahead and get signed up and be ready to go. And then my encouragement would be like, go for it, do it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other topics that you would like to talk about in our second to last parent meeting? Okay. Well, we may be ending early. I don't know that I have any big revelations that I want to make at this point about anything. Oh, I got one thing I could just throw out there. Do we have any Lowell parents here? There we go. We are going to be at our Lowell campus. There is going to be some work done over the summer to fit all of the doors with electronic locks that will be opened by key cards.
Yeah.
It's great because you can easily get in while still holding your lunch and your books. And also different doors can be set on a timer to open at different times and lock at different times. But the real reason for the change and the cost and the expense is if there was ever an emergency, either campus-wide or district-wide, all of the doors to the classroom can be shut down in an instant. And that lockdown can happen very quickly. So whether or not any individual teacher is aware of an incident, the campus can be secure. So that is a big development, and I am excited about that for all of the reasons that I mentioned. It is just one step in the right direction. There's still a lot of work to be done with campus safety. For those of you that have been around for a while, you know that we have been talking about this for a long, long time. And it's nice to see some significant action going forward. So any questions about that at all? All right, well, if there is nothing else, no other questions, concerns, comments, we're going to end our meeting. I guess I will ask one thing, see if I can just bait you one last time, is for next year, as we are looking at our parent meetings, which I think there's no danger of them going away. But if you had some feedback on how to make these parent meetings more effective for you as a parent, to maximize the time here, are there any thoughts on what you would like to see going forward for next year?
I'm a high school parent, so I'd thought about like having like a high school section and sort of a K-8 section, but I also realize there's lots of things that overlap, so, and questions that are relevant to both, so.
Do you feel like you need more high school content?
I don't know that I feel like I'm pretty well connected. Like I read everything. I talk, to my parent liaison. I talk to, my kids, educational coach. So I feel good personally.
Awesome. Yeah, it's hard because typically the families that come to this meeting are not the ones that need to come to the meeting. It really is a lot of our other families that aren't watching later or reading the weekly email. And it is difficult to know how to connect and making it enticing enough to come. But okay, if anybody does end up having feedback throughout the week, please let me know. So we'll start the raffles and the funny stories, and maybe we'll have a parent talent show. I hear that could help. The Zoom talent show. Anyone? No? Okay. We'll just leave those things on the drawing board for now. Maybe give me more feedback and we can talk about it at our last parent meeting of the year next week.